Welcome back into the Sports Source. From the family-owned company at Safety Systems to your family, a Merry Christmas and a warm holiday season. I want to remind you that up next, how much faith do we still have in Butch Jones? But first, it's time to hand out some awards today. And first up, we're going to run through these. First up is the Tiny Tim Award. And that goes out to Dave Serrano. As the ghost of Christmas future once said, if the shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here. Not to be too.
A ball bat hanging by the fireplace.
Yeah, that's right, a baseball bat over there. He's got to change some things this year. He's lucky to be back this year. Hope he does. All right, next one up is the Lewis Winthrop Award, or Winthrop Award. I'm sorry. Talk about trading places from good to bad. A year ago, Jalen Hurd was a popular 1,300-yard running back. Now he quit with 4 games to go and plans to transfer and change positions. Jalen Hurd wins the Dan Aykroyd Lewis Winthrop Award for trading places from a good place to a bad place this year. Next up, the Mr. Potter Award goes to Nick Saban. And that is simply because he makes life miserable on every other coach in the country. If he's not beating them head-to-head, bald head to bald head, he's got their fan bases trying to compare their programs to his, and that's just not a fair comparison right now. Mr. Potter, Nick Saban. Next up, the Cousin Eddie Award goes to outgoing Chancellor Jimmy Cheek. And the reason is, just like Clark with Cousin Eddie, most Vol fans are ready to see Cheek leave. So I think this guy got way too much grief over the years. I think he became like a figurehead for everybody to point at. I don't think he deserved all the grief he got, but I do think Vol fans are glad to see him go, and I think he's probably glad to be rid of Vol fans.
Is that a Photoshop?
No, that's correct. He wears a blue leisure suit. He's a large, beastly, bulging man. All right. Next up is the Clarence the Angel Award, but that doesn't go to Holly Warlick. She's in the role of George Bailey. She's the one being saved. I couldn't Photoshop this, but the winner of the Clarence the Angel Award, I think, is going to be her signing class. Number one signing class in the country. Yep. It's being described as Yukon good. I think that will be the salvation of Holly Warlick. All right. And finally, speaking of Clarence the Angel, we are now going to give out some wings. We're ringing a bell every time a bell rings. Josh Dobbs. We're giving Angels wings to Josh Dobbs, a popular quarterback, but one whose overall strengths are still underappreciated by many. Electric runner, great season throwing the ball, as good a season as anybody in the SEC this year. And the guy does more to lift the spirits of the sick here in town, the mourning in Chattanooga after the bus crash, the homeless and the recovering in Sevier County. Quite simply, Josh Dobbs is everything a college athlete is supposed to be. On the field, talented. Off the field, grades, tough major, and he goes and does all of this community service stuff, the charity stuff like nobody before.
Bravo. Bravo. That's why when you ask, will he be beloved? I think he will be. Because it's going to be things other than just what he's done on the field.
And I think his exploits on the field will be more appreciated in years to come. I think people will remember, we had 10 years from now, the people who were sitting there saying he can't throw are going to be the ones telling their kids, we used to have this guy, Josh Dobbs. Oh, I loved him. He was spectacular, electric. Josh Dobbs, tremendous job by him this year, so we're glad to give him some wings. Hey, I'm giving out wings. All right. When we come back, how much will, 2 questions, plenty of time in the next segment. Will the Vols ever get back to the 90s level of winning? And how much faith do we have in Butch Jones that he can win championships at Tennessee? We'll discuss both as we close down the Christmas episode of the Sports Source with football, and football. Come on back on the Sports Source.